Martial arts is very important for every man to know, a non-negotiable. As a man, you have to learn martial arts. I don't care what anybody says. You have to learn some type of self-defense skill. You can't opt out and just get a gun. There's a lot of locations where you cannot carry a gun. Whatever your craft is, as long as you know something, you're better off than almost 95% of people out there that don't know anything. Like right now I'm in Mexico. When you start traveling, you need to know how to defend yourself. You can't be out here just thinking that nothing's gonna ever pop off. But that's not really how it works in the real world. There's fights all the time. And in some locations, there's no law enforcement that's going to come to your rescue and save you. I remember back when I was in college, me and my buddies, we were like in the business organization and we all went to the club. So there was a lot of guys that we knew, a lot of girls that we knew. We were all having a good time, man. It was badass time. I was like 20, 21. So then afterwards, we decided to get some food at this hot dog shop. You know, you got the post-clubbing munchies and you want to go have a good time. You want to go get some food. So me and my buddies went. We were drinking, so we were already kind of buzzed. We get there and there were some guys already ordering at the hot dog spot. They were very drunk. Like those guys were just out of it. They were getting very rude with the people that were serving the food. And one of my buddies next to me, he was having a good time too, so he was already kind of a couple drinks in. I remember my buddy got mad at him, kind of got on him. He was like, hey man, shut up, like they're cooking the food, it's going to come. And the guy looked at him, and he just like, out of nowhere, he just fucking swung at him. My buddy swung back, and then his friend came in, and then I got in, and I started boxing with his friend, and then another guy came in, and then my other buddies came in. Next thing you know, it was like a whole melee in the middle of the street in downtown Houston. There was a moment that I was boxing this guy. You know, I was over here bobbing and weaving, doing my thing, and this guy swung at me, and then I swung to get him. Like I thought I was gonna like land on him, and then I missed, man. I missed and I went straight to the floor. I slipped because I had fucking dress shoes on from the club. So I threw the punch, I slipped, and I fell on the floor. And in those seconds I was like, what the fuck? I need to get up. So I got up. You never want to go to the ground. That's number one. You never want to go to the ground because you never know what can happen once you hit that ground. Two of his guys might come, start stomping you. It gets a lot more complicated at that point. I think the best thing to do in any situation is to de-escalate as soon as you can. If you see something that's not looking right, there's somebody that's drunk, try to get away from them. Try not to escalate the situation and make it worse than it has to be. If you get to the point where you absolutely need to defend yourself, learning these skills in order, the first one would be jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because it is very effective. It teaches you chokes, it teaches you arm bars, it teaches you different locks, it teaches you how to get up when you fall on the floor, it teaches you how to move on the floor, different techniques where you can bring somebody to the floor and hold them on the floor. So jiu-jitsu is very effective. Also, the philosophy of jiu-jitsu is very peaceful. Defend yourself only when you absolutely have to. It makes you a very dangerous fighter because jiu-jitsu guys, they have a lot of stamina. They're very creative when it comes to fighting. They don't fight unless they absolutely have to. They won't hurt you. They won't go too far if they actually bring you down. There's a couple videos of Matt Serra from the Ultimate Fighter from the UFC back in the day, where he got this guy, I think he was like under some type of influence. He was drunk or he was high, and he brought him to the floor, and he kept him on the floor for a good while so he wouldn't get up. That leads me into the next thing, which is striking. There's certain situations where you can't grapple and go to the floor. This usually happens whenever you're at a bar, at a club. If you're out and about, there's a lot of people. You don't want to take the extra time of grabbing somebody, bringing them to the floor, and trying to hold them on the floor and trying to execute your moves on them. You want to learn how to strike fast, effectively, and get out. Again, disclaimer, best thing is to not fight. Best thing is to de-escalate the situation as much as possible or get out. But if you can't get out, you have to throw those hands. Boxing, I think the next thing is boxing. Even if you don't learn Muay Thai or striking, as long as you have a good foundation of boxing and you can actually throw some punches, you can knock out somebody with 1 or 2 punches. The next thing I would recommend is wrestling. If you can do some takedowns without going to the floor, or even if you go to the floor, if you can do a single leg, a double leg, know how to grapple somebody, grab them, know the best positions to grab somebody, keep that stance whenever you do grab somebody. All of these martial arts are effective. It's better to know one of them than not know any of them. So if you know one of them, you're already ahead of a lot of people. I'm not making this video to knock one martial art or the other. For me, MMA is very practical because you learn all of the arts and you make your own style. So when you have your own style, at that point, you can just incorporate wherever is needed in that situation. I even went ahead and studied Krav Maga, and I think Krav Maga, even though a lot of guys give it flack, I think Krav Maga is also very effective because it's actual like military combat style training. So it teaches you how to use knives, it teaches you how to use guns, it teaches you how to use weapons, so you have a stick or a rock. Violence is completely different from organized martial arts or organized fighting. At least knowing one of them is great for self-defense. That's all you need if you just want to learn how to defend yourself. If you want to take it another level and you want to be a very effective fighter, you want to have a lot of confidence knowing that your self-defense skills are on point, then learning each martial art for at least a year or two, I think that's the best bet. You can go up against any opponent and you know how to hang with them. If you go against a boxer, you know how to box, you know that you got your head movement, jab, cross, hook. If you go against a jiu-jitsu guy, you know how to defend takedowns, you know how to bring them to the ground, you know how to apply a rear naked choke, you know how to defend a rear naked choke. A lot of people don't know how to defend the chokes. I think that's the part that is very important about learning in jiu-jitsu. And wrestling, you know how to do takedowns and you know how to defend takedowns. And Muay Thai, you know how to defend kicks, catch them, and you know also how to throw them, elbows, knees, you know how to do all of that good stuff. Martial arts, every guy, non-negotiable, you have to learn it, but there's different philosophies. A boxer is going to say that boxing is the best martial art in the planet. Jiu-jitsu guy, same thing. You ask a wrestler, same thing. But the truth is, they're all very effective. Best to learn them all, understand them, and then apply them if necessary. Let me know what you think. Which martial art do you think is the best? Drop it down in the comments. Until next time, stay strong, stay relentless, and keep on conquering. Peace.